Hey everybody, what's happening? This is African Frame podcast. This is episode 3, I believe. Thanks for everybody who's been watching our videos, liking, subscribing, and commenting. Yeah, man. Thanks again for checking out the channel. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe and share. There's plenty of stuff that you can check on the channel, whether you want to see how I draw certain characters or you want to see discussions about Dragon Ball Z or movies, discussions, or anything of that sort. But this is the African Frame podcast. It's me, Mr. Extraordinary, with my co host, Rob Sibeko. And we have a special guest today. We actually have someone who actually introduced us to each other.
A great point.
Donovan. Yeah, Donovan. How you doing, bro? Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good, guys.
Yeah, he introduced us like, yes,
Very
this
funny.
was like what, 2014, I think? I don't know.
Yeah, almost 10 years, I'm sure of it.
Yeah, around that time.
Yeah, man. So thanks for joining us, bro. So we just want to continue with our, I guess you could say, the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight trilogy. Today we're going to be talking about the third film, The Dark Knight Rises. Uh, the Dark Knight, the Dark Knight Rises, I believe, came out in 2012. The reason I believe it came up in 2012 is that it was competing with Avengers, which came out in 2012 as well. And The Dark Knight Rises made over $1 billion at the box office. Avengers also made over $1 billion at the box office. But what always impressed me about the Dark Knight Rises is that it didn't have aliens, it didn't have Hulk, it didn't have a lot of other superheroes. Sure, Batman does have like acquaintances, ne? But they were not superheroes, if that makes sense. With Avengers, you had a lot of star power. Robert Downey, Chris Evans, Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk. You had Samuel L. Jackson. You had so many people. Tom Hiddleston, Chris Hemsworth. But with The Dark Knight Rises, you just had one superhero and a couple of villains, but he still made over $1 billion at the box office, and that is impressive. But anyway, before we get into the story, just a bit of background. The movie is starring Morgan Freeman as Lucius Fox, Michael Caine as Alfred Pennyworth, obviously Christian Bale as Bruce Wayne / Batman. You have Joseph Gordon-Levitt, right? Levitt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Joseph Gordon-Levitt as what's that guy's name again?
Robin.
Well,
Robin.
yeah, we'll get into that. I think it was John Blake or something.
Yeah, something like
And
that.
then, yeah, and then you had Anne Hathaway as Selina Kyle / Catwoman, and then you have Marion Cotillard as Talia al Ghul, and then you have Tom Hardy as Bane. There's a cameo by he plays Russell Ghul. What's his name again?
Liam
Neeson. Yeah, Liam Neeson
there you
plays
go.
Russell Ghul. And then, am I forgetting anybody?
Cillian Murphy reprises his role as Scarecrow for a scene.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and Gary Oldman comes back as
Commissioner Gordon.
Commissioner Gordon. Yes. So yeah, that's basically the cast of this movie. Before we start, guys, how did you guys feel about the movie the first time you saw it?
I was happy with it. I was always surprised by the negative feedback it got, but I was actually genuinely happy. I was like, this is cool. There weren't things that were perfect, obviously, but I still think I was genuinely altogether happy with it. Yeah, you guys?
Sure. Dono?
On my end, I think for me, it ticked all the boxes of what a superhero movie should be. Because in terms of like the background, the storyline, and character development, I was very impressed. A few things out, I was like, maybe they could have gone a different direction. But then again, that's an opinion. But in terms of what the director did and execution of the movie, I think it was well made. Like it was cooked. It was cooked, if I could say.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. Look, it's not the strongest out of the three.
Yeah.
The strongest is still the Dark Knight, in my opinion. But
Oh yeah.
it was still good. Look, I was scared, bro. And I don't want to lie. Like, I was in my 20s. I think I was what? In 2012, I was probably 24. But I was scared when I saw that film, especially when I saw what Bane did to Batman, because it sort of gave you the fear of God, in my opinion, in that scene. Because you start realizing, being a hero is not as hunky dory as it seems. You know what I'm saying? Where someone can actually cripple you. That for me, it just, I don't know, it just opened my eyes to reality. So what can happen if you were to be a superhero in real life? You can actually meet your match, and this person can just take you out. You know.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's what I think. But otherwise, it's not a bad movie at all. I don't mind watching it over and over. Yeah, so let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. But before we do that, Rob mentioned something on WhatsApp. He mentioned that it's Jason Bateman Day, so I think he could give us some background on what he's talking about.
Yeah, no, it wasn't like in a special day. I just made it for myself, as in for like, every now and then I like to like follow a director. And Jason Bateman is I won't call him a new director, but he's done a few movies on his own. The big one being
Right.
the TV series Ozark. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
Right.
He also, yeah.
I think I've only seen the first 2 seasons.
Okay. Definitely watch to the end.
Yeah.
It gets even better. Like it's one of the ones, like, you know, Breaking Bad kind of starts slow and then blows up. In my opinion, Ozark just keeps escalating. He's got a great style of directing. Very different to Christopher Nolan. It's very slow paced, but the slow pacedness produces a level of tension that is absolutely fantastic. Yeah.
And he's versatile. I mean, he's done comedy. When you look at Ozark and you see some of the stuff that he has done in the past, like when you look at something like Arrested Development or Horrible Bosses, or what else has he done? I think he did Teen Wolf 2 actually when he started, when he was quite a lot younger. You wouldn't think that it's the same guy that's doing Ozark, like that's in Ozark. No, it's not. You know, so he's brilliant.
I was asking, is the main character, is it the same person from Arrested Development?
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly.
I kind of noticed that, like, he's also like Christopher Nolan. I think he likes, reusing the same characters, which is like when certain directors work with certain actors for a long period of time, it's like they go-to guy. They go-to guys, like, I know you get this done. Yeah.
He actually has a podcast, by the way. He has a podcast with Will Arnett. Will Arnett, I think he voiced Batman in the Lego Batman movie.
Yes,
and he also has, I think it's Sean, I forgot his surname. He was in Will and Grace. Remember the gay guy from Will and Grace?
Oh, yes.
Not Will, but Will's friend.
Oh, Jack.
Yeah, Will's. Yeah.
Jack, yes. So the three of them have a podcast. I forgot what it's called, but they actually have a podcast together.
I saw the one where what was it? I was talking to Kevin Hart. I think I saw a clip of that one. And then Kevin Hart was like calling them out. It was just the funniest video. It was the funniest thing. Because it was like, anyway. But yeah, the one thing I like about Bateman as an actor, right, is like sometimes what he'll do is he plays a straight guy in a lot of his movies.
Right. Yes.
And he's always
so.
Yes, he's either the straight guy or the unlucky guy. So like the terrible things will happen with him right now. Like I just watched a movie called "This Is How I Leave You" by starring him.
Oh, it has. I think it has Tina Fey in it. It has Adam Driver in it.
Yep. There's a few. It's got the guy from Justified. I always forget his name. But
yeah, from Ant-Man, right? The villain from Ant-Man.
No, well, yes, he's there as well, but more.
Yes.
Mandalorian season 2, episode 1.
Jeez, I haven't watched the Mandalorian yet.
But I know you guys know. Anyway, the guy who played Hitman, the first Hitman movie.
Oh, Timothy Olyphant.
Oh yeah.
Yes, yeah, he's in there as well. The guy with the
that guy was supposed to be Iron Man. You know that? Well, he auditioned to play Iron Man.
Well, that would have been interesting. I almost got mixed feelings about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole thing about Jason Bateman though is he does a straight man, right? But if you think about him as in Ozark, and you think about him in like Arrested Development, you can actually kind of see some similarities. I like the idea of taking a similar character trope, right? And then you reverse the situation, and then it suddenly changes the performance completely. When technically one could argue they're still kind of playing the same role, where he's like, bad things keep happening, he's kind of trying to be clever out of it. In the rest of Element, he's the same person. It's just instead of a ridiculous comedy session, it's a real life, insanely gritty drama where where in the Arrested Development, the flaws of every character ends up causing the problems, right? And then if you think about the flaws of every individual character end up causing the problems.
Right.
Yeah, I just think that's a very cool thing where you can do the same thing twice and end up with completely different results.
I guess he realized that it's working, but instead of doing the same thing by making it funny, he just thought, why not make this one serious? And it worked.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah, but you're right. There are some actors who sort of play the same character, even though it's comedy, even though it's serious. When I look at someone like Malcolm, from The Cosby Show, or from Malcolm and Eddie. It's like he plays Theo all the time, but I mean, when you look at Malcolm and Eddie, he plays the straight man, right? But he still has funny moments. It's like Kenan and Kel. When you see Kenan and Kel, Kel is the funny guy, but Kenan is also funny. But he's not trying too hard to be funny. It's just when you watch him as an adult, you'll be like, this guy's hilarious, if that makes sense, you know?
Exactly. It's like Will Smith. Will Smith sometimes just plays Will Smith. And if you put him in Suicide Squad, it works. You put him in, what's another one? Muhammad Ali, it works. But if you put him in Sounds or After Earth, where they try to undo the Will Smithness of it all, it falls apart.
You didn't like 7 Pounds?
It was all right. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't a bad movie, but I'm just saying. I think
like Concussion.
Done better. Yeah.
Yeah, I get you. Because Concussion was like that for me. Yeah. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Anyway, yeah, man. Let's get into The Dark Knight, man. Don't know. Did you catch up? I think you said you wanna check it out. Did you check it out?
No, I actually did check it out, but I couldn't finish with the load shedding. You know how load shedding is, so that was a sad part of that.
No problem.
But
Does anyone?
I've seen it like a dozen times, so I'm well versed.
Does anyone want to start the whole scene? Because it starts with the airplane, right? It starts with Bane in an airplane, kidnapping. Like, that's the weirdest. Like, I've never actually seen anything like that in film where someone is being kidnapped mid-air.
In an aeroplane.
Yeah.
That is crazy. But you know what's crazy, Anna? What he says to his henchmen. It's like, no, brother. There was only space for one. One of us has to stay. And the loyalty to what they believe in, that's like almost crazy, bro. Like, that guy was like, okay, no. I'll be the sacrificial lamb.
Yeah.
And as he says that guy gave him that look. Was like, okay, it's stay.
Hello?
I'm like, no.
I think we missed that.
Yeah, I think I got.
Yeah. You're breaking up a bit. Can you just repeat what you just said?
What I said was, sorry, I got bad network around here. The Wi-Fi is just terrible. But anyway, I was saying the way the intro started, you could tell from the get-go, like the scene with Bane inside the plane, where he tells the henchman, like, listen, one of us has to stay. And then without conviction, that guy didn't even flinch, hesitate. One of the henchmen, he didn't flinch, hesitate, or he was convicted, like, listen, this is the objective, you stay. And from then on, I think that set the tone for me, and I was like, this is dark.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh, by the way, just to give a bit of background, this is basically 8 years after the events of the Dark Knight.
Yes.
Was
Um,
it?
just
Yeah.
yeah, it was 8 years, and at this point, Gotham was safe because Batman and Harvey Dent and Commissioner Gordon had basically come up with a way to convict a lot of um, members of the
Was
mafia
it
They
family.
shut down, illegal
the Deadpool?
mafia, basically. Organized crime. They shut
Yes,
crime
organized
down.
crime. They shut down organized crime, and also the way I mean, a villain like Joker was not in the streets.
Hmm.
So I guess it was just small time criminals that could easily be taken care of by Gotham Police Department,
Yeah.
Police.
uh, Gotham City Police Department.
Before we go further, I just want to say, back to the epilogue, the prologue, sorry. I just want to say that I think it makes such a big difference that they did everything as practical as possible. Because I've been noticing, like Star Wars, for example, like you see it there a lot, where you can kind of tell they're in a sound room. Whereas with the Dark Knight, when
Right.
it stands, you can really feel that this is a physical room and the actors are using real space. If that makes any sense to you guys, like I feel like that is that
Yeah.
direct intelligence. Like it really lets the actors really, yeah, be. So I really enjoyed that. That makes the whole thing so much better. But yeah, so
I think Christopher Nolan, he likes doing that, and I recently questioned why he does that, but I'm realizing that one of the reasons his movies are basically timeless is because he tries to be as realistic as possible. Whether it's the space he uses, whether it's minimal CGI, whether it's based on situations that stand the test of time, like issues like crime and stuff like that. This is a movie that we can watch 10 years. I mean, it's been over 10 years that I mean, as I said, this movie came out in 2012, but we can still watch it today and still appreciate it. We don't feel like the CGI is weird, it's off, or you can see that green screen at the back or stuff like that. So I think his use of practical effects is
yeah,
good. Yeah.
Yeah, like I've noticed what he does a lot with is especially with these movies. He keeps it as grounded, as simple, and as authentic
Yeah.
as he can.
Yeah.
That's what he
Yeah.
goes for. And I think at this point, no, he I would consider him the least laziest director of all. Because like I mean, right now most directors they
Mm,
just whip it. I get a couple of actors in there, do the scene, do whatever, get it done, boom, done. But he actually goes out the distance. Because I don't know which movie it was, but he actually bought a real plane. I think it was what
probably
was it?
this one.
Uh,
He rips the plate in half. That
yeah.
wasn't.
yeah, not just that one. I think it is also Tenet as well, where he actually bought the actual plane and they ripped out the what's this the engine and everything off the plane, and like that's how invested he is when it comes to his
Mm,
directing. And then a lot of directors they shy away from that. I don't know if maybe it's because of the budget or, but I know
Mm,
with him when he has like a specific task, trust me, he will go to the detail is in every single scene. He makes sure that like in every scene you can see the authenticity, the detail, and you pay attention. You're like, okay, this is real. You like everything he does. You can see like, okay, this was well thought of. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. There's actually two things that I want to say to that. One is even when he was doing Inception, you remember that scene where it shows Joseph Gordon-Levitt like falling down the
mm.
the wall, going on the wall sideways and stuff like that. He had actually created like I don't know what to call it, like sort of like a room that can rotate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Practical. He didn't use the camera. No, no, no. That
Yeah,
thing
I
was
didn't.
rotating, and the actor was actually running like that for real,
Yes.
which is crazy. But the other thing that I wanted to say was, I think two other directors that I can think of that are so meticulous when it comes to their craft is Quentin Tarantino
Mm-hmm.
and
Yes.
and James Cameron, because James Cameron, they would shoot like the Avatar film for like 5-10 years, Joe, like 5 years or 3 years or something.
Yeah, and then they out an entire beach, and then
yeah. I mean, even with Titanic, the detail, the amount of detail that he took to do that thing, it is crazy, you know. So, and I think that's why their movies are so great, because when they come out, even David Fincher, by the way.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
when it comes to detail, you realize that these guys, that's why their movies are so great. It's like they don't play around. They don't play around.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sorry guys about that. I just want to get my charger right because my phone
No problem.
is dying here, but there we go.
We lead ourselves back into the thing. Where were we anyway? Oh yeah, we just finished the prologue, so now it's
Yes.
like what's the first actual scene of Batman?
The first
Yeah, like what's the first Gotham scene? Because remember, you only find out 8 years later at the party, I think.
Yes.
Yes, where he does the speech. That's when you kind of figure out what's happened. Yeah, it starts with the speech.
So yes, there's basically a party. I think Gordon was there, if I'm not mistaken. Selina Kyle was also there.
Mm-hmm.
What were they celebrating? Were they celebrating Harvey Dent's 8-year thing? No?
Yeah, 8 years of Harvey Dent. The Dent Law.
Yes, the Dent Act. Yes,
the Dent Act. Yes. So basically, Bruce was hosting, right?
Yes, he was held at the.
And even though he was hosting, he was not really invested at the party. He was sort of this old man with a beard, and he was walking on a cane because he got hurt like 8 years ago when he fell. And Selina Kyle was basically like one of the helpers at the mansion at that day, but she was out for a specific was for some jewelry because she's a thief. Even in the comics, she's a thief. So she managed to get Bruce Wayne's fingerprints, I think, or DNA, so that she can be able to access the safe.
Safe, yes.
So basically, the con was she is a jewel thief, but she was not out for the jewels. She was just interested in the fingerprints.
Yes,
the jewels was just like
a bonus because she can't help herself.
Yeah.
Okay, why did she want the fingerprints again?
Because they needed what's this? They were trying to get Bruce's thingy, his fingerprints, so that they can, I don't know, something about getting the
approval for the market. Yeah. Remember, the fingerprints are needed for the transaction to go through for the stock market heist.
Yes.
Why try to the next?
Wall Street, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So basically, she was already sent by Bane at this point to go and infiltrate the Wayne Manor.
Yeah.
And do it in such a way that Bruce would not even recognize that this is someone that's out to get him. Because if anybody else would have been there, especially a man, Bruce would have seen something. But because Selina is so, how can I put it? She's good at her job. She really played it so well that Bruce didn't even realize.
Well, I think, yes and yes, I agree. I think he did understand that there was more to it, I think, because he already saw that she already had the diamonds on her, if I'm correct. So he knew that she got an in, but she was still doing something with the safe. He just didn't know what, if I'm correct. Could be wrong.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. He was a bit skeptical about Selina, but he just couldn't put his finger on it.
Yeah. And he basically retired.
Yes. And then I think this is the moment where actually Commissioner Gordon wanted to actually reveal the truth to everybody that, guys, look, this is actually what happened. Harvey Dent was actually not really as great as we would like him to be. There's some actions that were questionable that he had done, in the latter part of his career. After that whole thing with Rachel. But he kept the speech. He didn't say it out loud. And I think, did Bane get the access to that letter at that moment, or he only got access to the letter later on?
Later on. He got access later on. But at that point, I'm just making an assumption. I think he already knew what was going on, because Bane looks like the kind of guy that, like, listen, extensive research. He knows before he infiltrates, he already knows who to target, where to hit, what's going on. He already knew what was going on in Gotham before, before anybody knew what was going on. There was like for me, it was like the foundation that he set up, because you could see that the I think this took a while, because this is 8 years after, but I think maybe he might have taken like a couple of years to get everything done, because first of all, he was working. They were under the tunnels. They were already working. They already knew where. They already that thingy was Batman, because they had already gotten his, what is this? His safe house is where he has his extra gear and whatnot, his suits. He had already thought of that before anything else. So it was just like.
I would argue that it even starts from the times of the first movie, because remember, Bane's trick Gordon, it was to destroy Gotham. So I think what happened during the pre-plans, he found out about the fakeness of the Dent Act and then built from there. Because the thing that Liam Nielsen knows, Bane.
Donald? Hello?
Yes, that's what I was about to say. That I think due to the fact that like he was under Ra's al Ghul's thing. I mean, can you guys? So I was saying,
can
I'll
you
be back. I'm listening. I'll be back. I'm listening.
Yeah, keep going, man.
I was saying that, I mean, Ra's al Ghul, you know, I'm assuming guy was under the League of Shadows, so you understand that every information that Ra's al Ghul had, Bane had it. So I think by you saying that, you're definitely correct. From the first movie, they were already planning that, you know, what should happen to me. You are coming as my thingy, my replacement, my successor to say that anything that after that, you will follow up with your with the plan. Whatever happens, the plan must continue.
Yes, hundreds.
And I think also what we need to bear in mind is, okay, obviously all this is all the information that we don't know yet, but also I think what we need to bear in mind also is Bane was trying too hard, or he wanted to impress Ra's al Ghul so much. Not just that, but he wanted to continue his legacy. He wanted to continue the legacy of Ra's al Ghul, for the League of Shadows to still be prominent and to still, push its agenda, which is to, well, I guess, get rid of evil, but through their own methods, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah. So obviously, this is when Bruce meets this beautiful woman, man. Her name is Miranda Tate, played by Marion Cotillard. They flirt a bit, and she's a businesswoman at this point, actually. I mean, we also see your usual suspects. I think Lucius Fox was also invited to the party, and Lucius was basically telling Bruce that, man, you haven't been coming to the Wayne Industries for a while. Because at this point, it seems like even Bruce was not even interested in the business anymore. He was just basically spending most of his time at home, just chilling, doing nothing. I mean, he's a billionaire; he doesn't have to work. But I feel like he was depressed. I think he was depressed. Maybe, I don't know if it was because of Rachel's death, and also maybe Harvey Dent's. Yeah, and maybe Harvey Dent's death.
Yeah, one of the main themes that people talk about is the lie. I think that's one of the main themes of The Dark Knight, is the failure of lying to save the truth. Because when you lie to help people, what ends up happening is you end up building a shell of falseness, which is why when you build a shell of falseness, what rots underneath explodes out. It's why it's one of the things that Selena Kyle says, where it's like, you guys thought you could live so rich. What she really means is you can live so rich off the lie. So if you think Gordon's theme is the lie, Gordon's theme, of course, being the Dent Act, and Batman's theme is the lie of Rachel not having given up on him when actually, in actuality, she did.
Right.
And, Alfred has to eat the punishment of that lie.
Because he didn't say anything about the letter, right?
Exactly, and Gordon has to eat the punishment of that lie as well.
So anybody else that's not living a lie is basically still living their own lives. Like Lucius Fox was honest from the get-go. He told Bruce that, look, even though he quit, he terminated his contract, I think, in The Dark Knight, but I guess he came back. I guess Bruce convinced him otherwise.
Yeah, because remember, he said, I won't stick around as long as that thing is still here. And Lucius himself destroyed it. So Lucius stayed the whole time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Okay. So Batman hasn't been active for all these 8 years. We've mentioned that before. Anyway, what happens next? Sorry, guys, my memory is a bit foggy. I know that
we follow Selena Kyle after he knocks the walking stick off.
Yes.
That was like one of the most brutal things that she's ever done. Like she kicked the hell out of that stick. I was like, yo,
crippled problem. Yeah.
I was like, no.
Yep.
And where does he chase her to? Where did they end up?
They ended up at
at
her apartment, and then Bruce was pickpocketed by the friend, and she didn't realize, like, yo, this is Bruce Wayne that you're pickpocketing. But you know, Bruce. Sorry, guys. So the conversation went on about, like, this is Bruce Wayne and basically what, and then I think Bruce told her the truth. Is like, listen, I know what you did. I know who you are, and I know who you're in bed with, and these people don't play.
Right.
And then that's when it kind of hit her. It's like, yo, this guy is not just your average billionaire. How?
Yeah, he's a detective.
You know what I'm saying? So
right.
That's when she realized, and I'm like, okay, maybe, you know, the ice is running thin, because if this guy could detect all this information about me just over me coming over, stealing jewels, and who is this guy? You know what I'm saying? So sometimes she was intrigued, but she took note
That's a
of
good point.
Yeah, she was.
So she started getting interested in knowing who this guy is.
Yeah, this enigma of a man, but you realize, Bruce comes with a lot of darkness in his life.
Yeah. But I think we're missing the scene. I think that, is this before or after the intro of Bane? Because I think it's before. I mean, after. Because remember when Selena Kyle takes the thumbprints to Thingamajiggy, first of all, she kidnaps the senator sexually.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, she kidnaps the senator sexually and then takes him to this bar, and then she snitches on herself so that way the police are coming in case something goes wrong. And it turns out, when whoever she tries to make a deal with, it goes wrong. So she ends up having to run away from the situation. And that's when Gordon finds about the underground city. And then, Gordon gets, and that's when we meet Bane for the first time, Thingamajiggy. And then, this scene happens afterwards.
That's
so he got caught. So Gordon got caught while trying to investigate. And they take him to Bane. And Bane, I think he was still busy with something, and Gordon manages to escape. And this is one of my favorite scenes.
Love that scene.
Gordon escapes, and then the guy looks at Bane, and Bane is like, "What are you here? Why are you still looking at me for? Go after him!"
And they shoot him and drive off this thing. Follow him.
Yes.
It was a great scene, and then he washes up and he's found by Jason Gordon-Levitt.
Yes,
Which is
John Blake.
Mhm.
But I think we're also missing a scene because I think the first time they introduced us to John Blake, Bruce had gone to the hospital, I think, to get some meds or to do a checkup.
Yeah.
On his leg, and I just don't remember how John Blake was there. Oh no, I'm wrong. Because I think Gordon was also at the hospital, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, so we are right. We are on track. Gordon was at the hospital, and then was Bruce checking Gordon, or was he going there for an appointment?
No, he was checking Gordon, but he came in.
Oh.
He had to put on the mask,
Mhm.
and then he basically just told Gordon like, "Yo, after what Gordon told him is like, this is something is coming, or someone,
Right.
and we are not prepared for what we're about to face." And from there on, I'm not quite sure. I think my memory gets foggy a little bit, and then that's when Robin meets Batman, and that's when Thingy goes to Thingy's house and tells him like, "Listen, I know that look. I've seen that look before."
Exactly. He goes to his. He goes to his absolutely.
But why was he going there? What was the reason for him to go there?
The money at orphanage.
Yes.
What? Oh, Bruce stopped contributing to the orphanage, no?
Yeah.
Yes.
Bruce stopped contributing to the orphanage, but at the same time, he knows who Bruce was.
Yes.
So he was like, "Okay, listen, I need to inform you because you're not informed about what's going on outside."
Right.
So basically, there was warnings all around, especially with Commissioner Gordon as well, and then for Robin as well. So it was one of those things where it's like, okay, now three things are all happening at the same time. There's something is coming, something big.
It does something really good. It ties everything together. First of all, it does multiple things at the same time. So it by proving that Batman and Gordon are both Batman and Robin are both orphans, and that's how they see each other. That's how he sees Batman, and tying the orphanage and the use of his money, because something's obviously wrong in Denmark. Something smells rotten in Denmark. I think that's the expression. So there's that clue. Then there's the connection. Right. Yeah, it's like a nice, good writing. Yeah.
And I think that's what Christopher Nolan does well, where things don't just happen. When people meet or they speak, it's usually because of something that happened before. That there's a reason why something is happening like that. There's a reason why Bruce went to the hospital and he was wearing a mask, even though he had not seen Gordon in 8 years as Batman. He still had to wear a mask. He couldn't go there as Bruce Wayne. He had to go there as Batman. If that makes sense.
Because it makes sense, because Gordon has never met Bruce Wayne in that capacity, but he has met Batman in a different capacity where...
Yes. He wouldn't have had that conversation with Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, it would be like weird. It would be like, and then what's
exactly.
up? Is like, yo,
exactly.
But you're... It's like, let's say me meeting, I don't know, like somebody famous, and I'm like, yo, there's a problem coming, and it's obvious it's gonna look weird, but because as bad know him, it's like, oh, okay,
it's you.
That looks very dope, by the way. That looks very dope, Rob. It's like,
that's cool. That's cool. That's cool.
I like the like. I think every time you do when you do like interviews, I think that should be your setup. Just get like a nice because it looks like something out of a movie scene where somebody's sitting there and just speaking. You could just move back and disappear into the dark. Nobody would notice.
I think it's better than talking to a black shadow.
That's actually it.
So basically, he makes it clear to Bruce that, look, dude, I've been following you since I was a kid. I know how you move. I've seen your patterns. You are Batman. There's no way you're not Batman. I've seen it, and that also plays to the character called Tim Drake in the comics, who is the second Robin, the first being Dick
Yeah.
Grayson, the second being Tim Drake. But they played to it because Tim Drake in the comics is not an orphan, right?
Yeah.
But Dick Grayson is an orphan because Dick Grayson's parents died at the circus.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
Tim Drake is the one who was able to deduce that Bruce is Batman. So it's like they took two characters and fused them together and made him a police
Together.
officer, which I always found weird. But I guess at the same time, I don't know if it's true. I heard that Christian Bale said that if they were to introduce a Robin in those movies, he was not gonna be part of it. So I guess they had to now create a new character and give him a different name so that it doesn't look silly that Batman is running around with this kid.
Well, I guess, but I don't think what's his face, Christopher Nolan would have put a kid in there. And to be fair, the man's a grown ass man. You know what I mean? But I hear what you're trying to say. It would have changed the dynamic.
Yeah.
But as mixing characters, you'd be surprised. A lot of people do that. Like for example, Game of Thrones. A lot of the characters, there'll be one character with like two personality traits, and it turns out it's because what they did was they took one character, put it with another character,
Yes.
then made one solid character that does two things, as opposed to I think like 47 characters in a TV show. So it's a common thing that writers do to screenwriters, not book writers, but that they do.
Yeah, I guess you could say they're avoiding to have the characters be one-dimensional.
Well,
yeah. And they're saving costs.
Yes, they don't have 27 scenes. Rather have one scene that does three things that would have happened with three different characters.
I heard it's the same thing with comedy as well. I think Skumba was saying that, let's say Trevor Noah has like 5 uncles. What Trevor Noah would do, instead of talking about all those 5 uncles in his comedy show, he just take all those 5 uncles and make them one person.
Yeah. It's kind of like that joke.
I actually heard that as well this week. Funny enough, what you're saying, I just heard it this week. Because apparently it builds like a solid character. So you can, with you fusing those people together, it builds one solid character instead of making them all. And it also gives the attention to that one particular person, as opposed to all guys that you can't keep track of. And then you have one character that has all these traits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, otherwise you're just gonna have one person saying one line throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah. Sorry, you wanted to say something, Rob?
No, it's fine. Never mind. It's cool.
Because I wanna ask you about the Robin character. For me, like I know what Christopher Nolan was trying to do, but how, like, when you look at him, do you think he portrays the qualities of a Robin, as to say?
No. No, he didn't.
Well, he's a lot less naive than other Robins, that's for sure, while still being helpful. But what I like about it is, I think what's nice about it is that he snuck him in. Like, he was a Robin that you only found out at the end, so that's why he still got his cake and got to eat it too. That's what I like about it. So, like, people that think he's a bad Robin, well, you didn't see a Robin until the end of the story. You know what I mean? And people are like...
And I feel like it was forced because none of the Robins' real name is Robin. Robin is a moniker.
Yeah,
it's not anybody's real name. But you're right. You only see it at the end because he inherited that part of Batman, right? Yes. And also, I think what was so great about this particular character is that he was the glue between Gordon and Bruce. You could say that he was he filled in the space of Harvey Dent, but not being a lawyer, but being a street level cop.
Yeah, he fused the two plots together because you get the Batman storyline, you get the Gordon storyline, and in a way, they almost don't meet each other if you actually think about it. Like, everything that happens to Gordon happens to Gordon. Everything that happens to Batman happens to Batman, and they only see each other 3 times. You need them.
Yeah.
You
But
need,
I think because remember in the previous one we did say that the three main characters in the Dark Knight are Joker,
Mhm.
Two-Face, and Batman. But I've mentioned that Gordon was the fourth main character there.
Mm.
But in here you see that you could say he's the second main character, and Bane being the third main character in
Yeah,
this one. Yeah.
the story of Gordon, Batman, and yeah, Bane.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I believe we get to a point where they show Bruce going to Wayne Industries, and because he's trying to figure out why they don't have money anymore, and he's realizing that even the company now is losing money, and he's busy asking Lucius Fox, who is the CEO at the time now, like what's happening, and Lucius is like, "Yo, you just stopped being involved in these things, you know." And it's
Well,
not like I wasn't trying to tell you these things. I have been trying to tell you, but you were
they
just
made
not paying
it very
attention.
specific, but yes, there's actually a
But
very specific reason.
Hmm?
my
There's a
question
very specific reason.
my
Yeah,
is
yeah. Question?
okay. Sorry, I didn't hear you. I got glitchy there for a moment. My question
Uh,
is, so for me personally, it didn't make as much sense. It's like, okay, I'm the face. I'm not the CEO. I don't run the business, but yet the business is losing money because I'm not showing up.
Now, there's a reason. There's a reason. Lucifer says, yeah, you can't spend $400 billion on a project and then cancel it and then be like, there's still money. There's no such thing. That's what Lucius Fox says. Because what happens is Batman spends ridiculous amounts of money to build his own Tony Stark perpetual energy machine, right?
Right.
Cancels the whole project because someone in Russia, who happens to be the guy that Bane kidnapped, wrote an article saying, if someone ever made this, I could turn it into a nuke. It was like 3 easy steps. And then Batman read the article, freaked out, canceled the whole project, and there goes his money.
Oh.
Do you think was that article deliberately written because they knew that Batman was working on it? Because how is it
So,
a coincidence? Oh, okay, okay,
in my opinion, I think what happened was, because remember, the guy's a scientist. He's not trying to challenge
yes,
Bruce is, but he's like,
yeah.
this nuclear technology, technically, you just go 1, 2, 3, and then this nuclear energy becomes a nuclear bomb. In real
And I
life,
guess that,
yeah.
and I
No,
guess
yeah.
it gave Bane the idea to actually access that because
Yes,
Bane was aware that Bruce was actually doing that,
yes, because
even though it was discontinued, it
as
was
an
still
investor
active
in the thing. Yeah, Miranda was an investor in the thingamajiggy. What's it called? The
in
energy,
the project, right?
which is he keeps asking about it because
Right.
So
it is.
one would say the scientist was the snitch.
You can almost say that, yeah.
Yeah,
Because if
yeah.
the scientists didn't have any, if the scientists kept quiet, they would have had like renewable, energy.
Yeah,
But
but that is
because
But it also would have been dangerous anyway. Someone would have written an article anyway.
well, yeah.
the question is who? Because the person they got, the scientist that they got, was the person who created it, was it not?
No, he's just
Oh,
a scientist that's thought to himself, I bet you if you did XYZ, you could probably convert this nuclear power station into a nuclear bomb. And then Thingamajiggy was like, oh, never mind then. And then canceled the whole thing.
But why did Bane kidnap the scientist then? That's the part that I don't understand.
Because he's the only one that knows how to convert it into a nuclear bomb.
Oh.
And to be converted to a nuclear bomb.
Okay. Okay.
That's why.
Yeah, we covered quite a lot actually so far. Even though we're all over the place, but we covered quite a lot. Yeah. Please
Yeah,
continue.
yeah, no, I was saying, even Bane at the football stadium says only one person knows how this bomb works. And then
yeah.
yeah, because only that scientist. So Don is right. If that scientist had said nothing, because no one else could think of how to do it, right? I mean, I agree with you, Kutsa, that on some level, yes, eventually someone will figure it out. That's what Batman probably realized. But at the same time, only one scientist actually knew how to do it in the end, which is why when Bane
Right.
killed, there were no other plans. They could only just let the bomb go off.
My
Right.
question: why would they keep it? Why did he keep it?
Hey, I have no idea.
Because he probably didn't wanted to end in the wrong hands, I think.
Yeah, then destroy it.
But then, yeah, you could have just dismantled it, piece by piece.
But
Like how?
but you know how Bruce is. Bruce probably thinks of contingencies. He's probably thinking, should there be a threat in the future?
Who's the threat? Superman.
I don't know, but you know how he is. Like I remember watching a cartoon, a film called Justice League Frontier, and he met the Martian Manhunter for the first time, and he went to his house. It's like, okay, let's work together. They agreed to work together, and then just as he was getting out of the window, he looks at him and he says, "Listen, I just forgot the number, but let's just say I have $500,000 worth of kryptonite for the other alien. With you, all I need is a box of matches. It's a box of matches. I'm like, yo. Yeah. So he's always got something up his sleeve.
Yeah, that's true.
Weakness.
Pardon?
I'm saying it's the worst weakness ever. Yeah.
Yeah, it is no, but it's not as horrible as Green Lantern's weakness. But yeah, it is a horrible weakness. Yeah. So anyway, I just don't remember what happened, but Bane ends up going to Wall Street.
Yes, that's the follow-up scene. Yes.
How did that happen again? How did they? Because I know basically this is where Bruce now starts shaving, takes his role seriously, dresses up as Batman, and is given the Bat plane. We'll call it the Bat plane. I don't think that's what they called it in the movie, but
it's called the Bat. But anyway, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So basically, he was just chasing down Bane. I just don't remember what happened for that to actually happen in the first place.
Okay, so what happened was, so Bane. Firstly, that's when we actually initially see Bane in action. So basically, he sent his henchmen to the bank. So what they were trying to do, they were trying to what is it called? They were trying to tank the market. So basically, they were trying to get a lot of money in a short space of time. So they were trying to short the market. After that, it was great because they had isolated everyone and they have taken whatever they need. And that's when that scene, that's one of the dopest scenes also, where this guy comes up like, we have no money here. And then he says, well, then why are you guys here?
Then what? Then what are you doing here?
It's like, then what are you guys doing here?
It's like, yo, you might not have the physical paper, but you have money. You know what I'm saying? You are the guys that make the money. The money.
That influence.
That steal the money. And that's a nice scene where the cop explains why it matters actually. The cop is like, oh, okay, well, the one guy's like, the FBI agent is like, we need to shut this down. And then Thingamajiggy is like, oh, this is why I keep my money under the bed. And he's like, okay, well, if this falls apart, that money under your bed is not going to be worth anything.
Yeah.
But I was going to say one thing. I would add specifics. This is basically step 2 of the grand plan. Remember, step 1 was the fingerprints. They took the fingerprints. Then, because I think you need fingerprint verification to be able to make deals. So they took Fingerprints, who's basically the leader of Wayne Enterprises. Then they bought a bunch of junk stocks that were going to fail anyway. That belonged to Wayne Enterprise.
So they were deliberately making him broke or making the company broke.
Yes. So this way, the guy on the inside could get him voted out, which is step 3, which we're going to get to.
My goodness. So the board of directors can actually say you've been making you've been buying bad stocks.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's tanking the business.
Yeah, it's Mengelson.
And on that, I think it was part of the plan because once the stocks tank, it's chaos everywhere. Have you noticed, like, if right now, if they said we're going into a recession, but like a deeper one than the one in the 60s or the 50s, It would be chaos everywhere. So basically, they were like he's like,
Yo, you're breaking up,
this
man.
Yeah, did you
step one.
part again?
Am I?
You have to repeat that.
So I was saying, okay, so I was saying it was basically part of the steps because once the market tanked and everything goes down, there's chaos everywhere. So their objective was like, you know what, we're gonna cause chaos within the city because once the chaos, that's when they can move and they can move about anywhere without being recognized because now there's chaos. You understand? So basically, that was his plan. Which like if once, because as you think about it, like it's so diabolical to the point where you're like, when the market collapses and all this is down, the stocks are down, the island or the town is gonna go into panic, and once they go into panic, that's when the looting starts, the riots, all these things.
Yes, because you're hurting their pockets. You're not killing them every night, or you're not kidnapping them. No. You're hurting where it hurts the most, their pocket.
Exactly. So, and that's when I think there was a chase, and there was a shootout in the bank, and then there was a chase, and then that's when we see Batman. I think about 5 minutes in, that's when we start seeing Batman.
That's where the chase happens. Yeah, the new chief of police, well, not the new commissioner, but the chief of police uses every single policeman to ignore the bank robbers. Because remember, the plan to screw Wayne over hasn't finished yet. It's still being done. So they need to waste time. And the places, they cut the power now. So they can't use the power inside the Wall Street. So they must use Wi-Fi and then run around while they're completing. And then Batman ends up accidentally being the problem because they end up chasing him. And then that's when they go into that dark room, the alleyway, and they're like, we've got him now. There's nowhere to go.
And then we see the bat.
Huh?
And then we see the bat for the first time.
Yeah, oh, dude. You have to watch it in the theater. You can't use home speakers for that. And then the lights turn on and it goes out. Dude, you can't use home speakers for that.
So basically, Batman unknowingly helped them with their mission because he became a distraction.
Yeah. Ironically, the power of his own lie ends up making him the biggest problem. It ends up being the lie being used against him if you actually think about it.
Yeah.
Right.
There's no more crime. Who cares about that one guy? Let's go after the Batman. Now that's big. So that ends up being used against him. But luckily the bat is there. And just visually stunning, great directing. I just want to add one. That's it. Never mind. Carry on.
No, please mention it.
Right. Now I was going to say the next step of the plan is, of course, the chaos, right? Sowing the chaos is number one. Then number two of the plan is, remember, they don't know where the bomb is, right?
Yeah.
They don't find it, but it is a part of Wayne Enterprises. So they force. Now it's a two-pronged attack. He can either let the company go bankrupt, right? And then and then what's his face? Mengelsohn ends up taking over the company, and he gets access to the bomb. Or Batman has to give it to someone. And who has just weaseled her way into Batman's life right now as a quality investor?
Miranda Tate.
Batman, not realizing the game, ends up giving her the entire project.
And funny enough, have you ever noticed that Lucius Fox has always been offended by any choice that he made regarding Miranda Tate? Because Lucius has been loyal since the first movie. He's the person that he can trust. He's been keeping his secrets for years. But then just because he's whipped by this woman, he's trusting everything to this woman.
Power.
You know? You know, I always paid attention. Every time I watch that movie, I cannot not see Lucius Fox's disappointment each and every time. But he's still there anyway. He's still there. Yeah, he's still there anyway. And Miranda plays it so well because you trust her. Like I was trusting her the entire time. I was
Right?
like, well, at least this thing is in safe hands. Because I remember there was a scene where they were in a room and then obviously it changed. And then Miranda was like, whoa, what's happening here? That's when
Yes.
they were revealing the bomb, yeah.
Mm. And that's
And
when,
I think he made a CEO, didn't?
yeah, something like that. Yeah, he made her like a buyer basically. So she ended up buying
Oh,
Wayne stocks and gave
right.
her the access to the bomb. Yes.
Yeah.
Like I said, P power.
Yep. But you know what's good about that scene is as soon as he does that, right, you'll notice that Mendelssohn suddenly becomes useless. And what happens like the next scene,
Mhm.
the bad guy, board of director, Mendelssohn, he ends up, they're like, do you have power? Do you think you have power?
I remember that. Yeah.
Good.
And that's the actor who was also in Pacific Rim, right? The first Pacific Rim. He was
Um,
actually walking on a cane in the first Pacific Rim.
yes. You think, yes. It's two guys. It's him and then the guy that plays the Skrull from Secret Wars / Mrs. Marvel.
Oh,
It's
yes.
basically, yeah. Because the one you took
Oh,
deals with Catwoman, and then the board member is the one that deals
yeah.
with Batman. But they're both together.
Oh, the one I was talking about is who?
The one you're talking about is the henchman, basically. But
Oh, yes.
yeah, so he deals with Catwoman, and
Oh,
then
yes.
he ends up dying on the water.
Yes. And then I think this is where Selena Kyle, speaking of Catwoman, I think now she starts intervening and saying there's someone who wants to meet up with you or something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Top fight, yes. And are you in charge? Once that all gets done, yes. She's like, I can help you find Bane. I can help you find Bane.
Yes. What were they fighting? Who was Batman fighting again? Actually, what happened at the rooftop? Can we just get into that quickly?
Okay, basically what happens is Selena Kyle goes to Mendelssohn's place and being like, okay, I did everything you wanted. Give me the key. And then Mendelssohn's
Right.
like, the key. What's it? The clean slate. There is no clean slate. Someone brought it up and then deleted the whole project. And then
Right.
who that someone is. Anyway, then Selena Kyle is like, you guys are not going to help me. Then, because this is the second time she gets screwed over, by the way. So before she's
Yes.
about to get attacked, Batman joins the fight, saves her basically. And then his reward is being sent down that passage, basically. They team up.
Before we get to the passage, can we just talk about how she got screwed over twice already?
Yeah.
What
Basically,
happened?
after the fingerprint thing, right, she goes straight to Mendelssohn's like, look, man, I did everything you wanted of me. Now give me my clean slate. To which Mendelssohn is like, hell no. No, thank you. And then she has to run away. And that's when Bane shows up. And then Bane is like walking in. He's like holding his things on the side, marches in. Selena Kyle runs away. Exactly. Selena Kyle runs away. Batman and Bane fight. And then Batman. And then, yeah. And then they become friends. And then Bane sticks around in the building because he's going to take care of Mendelssohn while Catwoman and Batman run away to the roof. And that's how they become like partners for like 10 seconds. And yeah.
and she steals his bike basically.
Yeah, exactly.
And I like how she used the goggles to sort of form cat ears. That was pretty cool.
You just know that was Batman being clever. I mean, Christopher Nolan being clever, yeah.
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 And then yeah. Do you want to say something, Don?
No, I'm saying it was so subtle, but yet it had so much significance. Like it was like an Easter egg of some sort. If you
Yeah, 100%. Because he's trying to make everything practical. He doesn't want. Why would she be wearing cat ears for what? So rather let me make it look like this, and then it forms a cat. And obviously, yeah, they get to the passage, and then.
Wait, there's a scene before then. I like to call it it's the Alfred sets up the bad guy scene. In the first one, it was the Joker. I once had a village Don. You remember that? Where
Yeah.
he sets up the Joker. Then there's a scene with him and Alfred before they go to the passage. where Thingamajiggy is like, look at the way Bane's fighting. And he's like, look at the way he's fighting. This man is different. This is the Thingamajiggy resurgent. What do they say nowadays? He's built different. Yeah, the Alfred's like, this man is built different. Don't go into this too easy. And that I've dealt with these people before. Don't you worry about it. And then that's when the passage scene happens. Yeah.
That's when he got his ass whooped.
Yeah. So basically, the gate closes behind him, and then Selena is on the other side of the gate or the door, whatever you want to call it. That's when he realizes that he was screwed over. And this is where we get the most iconic scene of the entire movie.
No, but
right.
I you know what, man? To be honest, I know she was naive, but at one point there was no way that she didn't know that shit was gonna go down. She knew what she was doing.
She knew. No, she knew what she was doing.
That's because, and then he still ended up going home with Batman. See, when you're a lady, there's different betrayal.
You know what? If there's one thing we can learn in these 3 movies, is that Bruce cannot choose a good woman to save his life. Like Rachel was not his person at all, and she denied him every single time.
No.
Miranda Tate was double agent.
Yeah.
And Selena Kyle helped him getting his back broken. So horrible choices, bro. Horrible choices.
That was a good ending. For all you know, it could have gone a lot worse.
What?
Now,
Yeah.
I'm saying, Rob, it will take another event for her to switch again, because you never know. Even at that stage, even after that happily
ever. Once, if she can do it once to you, to that degree, to that extent, she can do it again, bro.
Yep.
She can do it again. But anyway, they fight. Batman fights with Bane. We see that he is outmatched. I mean, there's even a point where he was pumping himself up.
And then Bane hits him with that line, "Your fight was nothing held back." What did he say again? Brave but mistaken. And then
brave but mistaken. And obviously Batman doesn't know what else to do. Then he switches the lights off. He's like, you think darkness is your ally? I was born in the dark. You see, you merely adopted the dark. I was born in it.
By the time I saw the light, it was nothing but blind. And he hits him.
Did you? The fist that came with those words, bro.
Hectic. I mean, to a point where his mask cracks. And everybody's watching. And you can tell that the people his henchmen, Bane's henchmen, felt sorry for Batman. That's how bad it was. Imagine feeling sorry for the person that you're meant to screw over.
Yeah, it got quiet.
You know it's bad. I know it's bad.
Yeah, quite real quick. You was like, yo, listen. I think that fight was not even. Oh, it was less than 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It was less than 2 minutes, because that guy, Shema.
Yeah, dude.
I think for me this is usually when you watch a movie or you watch a cartoon, there's a part where this villain makes a speech and tells the hero what he's gonna do. But I feel like this is one of those moments where the villain is telling the hero what he's gonna do and actually does it and actually comes to fruition.
Yeah.
Because he says I'm gonna take your what did he say? I'm gonna take your gadgets.
And
use
then
them.
I'm gonna break. Then I'll break you. Or something.
Yes. And then I think that's when doesn't he set off the bomb at that moment? And
yes,
then
he does.
And then the Batmobile falls down from the sky. It turns out that at the Green Tower, which was crazy.
We're actually underneath the Wayne Tower. Yes, you're right.
And then that's kind of where the A plot kind of takes a break, and then the B plot kind of takes over at that point, which is all Gordon, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, which most of the time is Gordon, because at this point, Batman cannot do anything.
Yeah, he's KO'd at this point. So now we switch back to Gordon with the whole where he's like trying to convince the police chief, yo, man, this is going down. And oh, gosh, what are the individual scenes? Okay. Jason Gordon-Levitt figures out the circle, the tunnel situation.
Yes.
What's his face? Gordon then convinces the mayor that this is where they are. And then this is when they convince the police that they must all go and fetch this man.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they get trapped. It's like Bane knew that the cops were gonna come after them. Then the cops get trapped underground for days.
Yes.
But my question is
So,
like,
Yeah.
my question was like, it's very, these guys, you do not care to just use one entrance? One,
20,000 police.
dude, 100, I think it was over 100 police. That's like half of the city. That's like 90% of the city squad. 100.
But you
No,
see,
actually, no, it's about 8,000 police. They actually say the number, which is actually funny enough. According to New York, there's a certain amount of police you must have for a certain amount of population. So if you actually measure the amount of police there are versus the New York figure, you actually realize that Gotham is actually like a population of like 7 to 8 million. So I think it's like 100 police for every, like, I forgot how many thousand population you need. But it's kind of interesting, kind of fun with statistics.
Oh yeah, because it's apparently New York has 8 million people there living in.
Some 6 to 8, somewhere there.
Yeah.
What you guys are saying is very profound because you're making me realize that in The Dark Knight, Batman, Harvey Dent, and Commissioner Gordon were able to, get rid of organized crime. In this one, Bane is able to get rid of the police, which is something.
Power.
In both cases, it's crazy how they were able to do that. And
I
what do
know.
you do with a lawless city? What would happen in a place where you know the cops are not around?
But funny enough, there was so much order because people were indoors. It was like COVID.
But they were afraid. They were afraid.
Of course, fear. But look at this. Let's just put it in a sense where, dude, like, there was no crime. There was no crime.
The only crime that was being committed was committed by Bane.
Yeah. So
remember when they destroyed the rich neighborhood? But in the areas, it was dead. It was like there was COVID.
It was COVID, basically. COVID,
yeah, you're both right. Because don't also mention the COVID thing.
That the food supplies that you have are the ones that are gonna last you because the military is coming. UNICEF is not coming.
Yeah. Because it was basically Gotham was basically closed.
Yeah.
It was basically what's this word that I'm looking for? There's a word that I'm looking for.
It was isolated.
Isolated?
Not really isolated. The lockdown. There was a lockdown, basically.
Yes.
Because no one from anywhere else could aid them.
Yeah.
Nobody could come in. Yeah.
No one comes in, no one goes out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's when basically Bane now gets access to the letter and then he makes a speech about Harvey Dent and what Gordon did and what Batman did. So basically people now realize that Batman was actually not a villain all along. Like you know?
Yeah.
But that breaks Gordon. So Batman was broken physically because he said, I'm gonna break your spirit, then I'm gonna break your body, which he did both. But with Gordon as well, he broke Gordon, even though he didn't break him physically, because Gordon loses his wife and kids. Like, it was crazy.
Not at that moment, but during the 8 years, yes.
Yes. Oh, it was during the 8 years.
Yes.
Oh, was it because of Harvey Dent?
Yes, it's that whole thing I was talking about, the lie. You know what I mean? Because remember, yes, you can lie to yourself, but that doesn't mean you can cope with it mentally and emotionally.
Yes.
So he couldn't cope. So it ended up affecting his family life. He ends up and then but again, I would call this section of the movie the moment of truth. Because if you think about it, the truth about Alfred comes out, the truth about Gordon comes out, the truth about everything comes out at this point.
Right.
So now Gordon is stuck in his bed. What's his name? Jason Gordon-Levitt looks down on him. He's like, I was trying to keep your hands clean. And it's like, well, your hands look pretty dirty to me, which is a pretty ill line from what's his face.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a pretty ill line. And then and then
Who said that? Who said that again?
it was Gordon versus Blake or Robin.
Oh,
Robin says it to
yes.
after they find out the truth. He finds out the truth. Yeah, nice moment for for Gary Oldman. Was great actor.
Yeah, so it's like that's what I'm saying. John Blake was not just a sidekick to Batman; he was also a sidekick to.
Yeah, he was also the morality of the story in a way. Like
because he was the only one who was not giving up, bro. Like no matter what was happening, no matter how bad the situation.
Yeah, and he was doing the groundwork. He was like at one point, I think we shifted from everybody else, from Batman,
Yes.
from Gordon, and he was the focal point of the movie because without him, let's not get it twisted. Without him, things wouldn't have without him. I don't think things would have went down as they did because he was like I think was you Kim who said he's the one that glued everything together.
Yes,
because he's the reasons why the cops were out. He's the reason why they could find where these tunnels are. He's the reason why all this information, the traveling, the knowing the whereabouts of certain people, of certain things.
His orphan buddies that were washed up on the tunnels. So he knew them already from the orphanage, which ties the orphanage back to the main storyline. Absolutely. It's kind of like, those disaster movies or movies? There's always that guy on the ground floor running. You know what I mean? Like if it's what's his face, Independence Day 2012, there's always that one guy. That's basically who Jason Gordon-Levitt is. You get the above ground view, then you get the ground view. And that's kind of what he is.
Because I remember he was sending letters to the cops, like means of communication. He was basically the one who was going back and forth, with letters and stuff.
Even telling the cops when things go down. Yeah.
Yeah. He was basically updating them on whatever was happening on the ground.
Or was the Wi-Fi down?
No, remember the cops didn't have access to anything because they were trapped.
Yeah.
So
was Wi-Fi died. Phones have died.
So nobody could send a text like, "Yo, let's do it old school. You got a pen? You got a paper?" Of course.
The iPhones would have gone down first.
And at this point, anybody who's trying to go against Bane would be sort of judged by Scarecrow because they would have to line up, and Scarecrow would make his judgment, which is already a prejudgment anyway.
This is exile. It was exile.
Pardon?
It was exile. You were exiled.
Death, yeah.
Yes.
Kangaroo court.
And then what would happen then is that they would take you to some icy, outside.
Yes.
Yeah, hence the exile thing. And that was cruel punishment.
Yep.
Because they would make you walk, and obviously the ice would crack, and then
exactly. And then you see that guy from before dying. Yeah. The guy you mentioned. Yeah. And then I would say that the plot ends. Not Charlie's Angels.
Pacific Rim.
Yes. That's where you see his ending. And then, as I was saying, the B plot ends. We go back to the A plot. We're back to Batman now. And then we see he's in the ground. And we kind of get the story of who we think is the new Ra's al Ghul. We think is the story of Bane. Yeah.
Yes. But also, just to mention that Bane wanted to kill Gotham, if I'm not like the people of Gotham, if I'm not mistaken, apart from what he was doing through Scarecrow. I think there was a bridge. Wait, no, not a bridge.
Yeah, there was a bridge.
Yeah, there were bridges with the army.
The stadium.
It's the CIA guys who try to break in.
And then and then when the nukes on the bridge.
No,
they bombed the bridge.
There were bombs on the bridge.
Yes, there were bombs on the bridge. Yes, But they
Yeah,
weren't set up by the bad guys. They were set up by the good guys.
Oh,
by the military.
okay.
But that says a lot, eh?
But why did they put bombs on the bridge?
Because they were trying to keep the bad guys in the island because it's if
Oh
they
yeah.
can't go anywhere. But at the
You
same
guys,
time, it's a smart move because now you've isolated the people, and they were ready to shoot the people.
Right.
They were ready
Take
to
care
kill
take care of the few to save, I guess,
the many.
the rest of America, I guess.
But that says a lot. That says a lot about these guys. That's why
Mm,
it's
mm.
scary things.
But anyway, sorry, we're coming to Bruce. Basically, we start seeing where Bruce is. We actually don't know where in the world he is, but we
yes, you
do
just
see him in an underground prison, and he's watching the news about what's happening in Gotham.
Guys, I got a question. How do they get those people in the underground? Did they throw you because you die
Bro,
instantly?
bro, I don't know. I think they use, like, that cloth that can take you
slide you
down.
down. Yeah,
Because my
I'm
question
assuming.
and what is it, like an official prison or is it like a I don't know, like villain prison?
It is a. Remember where they are is in a dictatorship. If you remember the story of Ra's al Ghul, they talk about how the great dictator, so and so, so and so, and then Ra's al Ghul married the wife, the daughter, or something like that, or took
Yes.
the wife or the daughter, and then as
Yes.
punishment, they sent it. Yeah, at first you think they sent Ra's al Ghul into the thing, and then or Bane or whatever, but then it
Oh
turns
yeah,
out
it's
in
called
reality the
Lazarus.
wife.
Is it the pit?
Hmm?
Is it called the Lazarus pit?
Yes, yeah, yes, it's a very clever play on words because the real Lazarus is supposed to rejuvenate you. So
Yeah.
in a way, it rejuvenates Batman.
Yeah, I guess you would say it's not the exact Lazarus pit that we are familiar with in the comics, because the Lazarus pit in the comics basically is called the Lazarus pit because it can bring you back to life,
Yes,
and that's what keeps Russell Gould young for the
Yeah, yeah,
longest time. But
yes,
in this
but then,
one, it's basically like you. It's as if you are dead because nobody knows where you are, nobody can trace you, whatever. And if you mention if you are able to get out of that, you're basically reborn, I guess.
yeah.
yeah,
You come out a brand new person as we saw.
yeah.
Uh, like
Movies
your
tend to do this. Yeah, yeah.
no, I'm just not continue.
All right, okay. I was going to say movies tend to do this with drownings. So if a character nearly drowns, well, it is a metaphor for rebirth. And in its own way, that's kind of what's happening here. It's a reuse of the metaphor of the reborn after drowning thing. So, like, remember Arcane when that guy, what's his face, the one that sells the drugs. I don't know if you guys know Arcane. I mean, everyone should know Arcane, right? You don't know the cartoon Arcane? It's a masterpiece. Even you, Kutsa.
Cartoon.
League of Legends, they made their own cartoon called Arcane. It's one of the best film. It's better than Invincible. Do you legit not
Wow.
know
No, I don't know it. It sounds familiar though, but I don't know.
ever? But anyway, it's a masterpiece. But anyway, okay. But the point is, in a lot of movies where someone nearly drowns, basically what does
Yeah.
it's a metaphor for the character being rejuvenated. So it's that kind of the metaphor they're going with the Lazarus pit. That's in my
Right.
wow. I see it. And then Batman comes out new. So yeah,
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was some serious training that he went through because he struggled, and at least he had a doctor there. There was a doctor there who, I guess you could say, figured out that he was Batman, even though he didn't really know who he was. But the fact that, because at that moment, there's no time to be pretending that you're not Batman, bro. You can't move. There's no pretending like you're a jerk, or I don't know if I'm making sense. There's
Yeah.
moments or situations where a hero has to reveal his identity because there's no time to be pretending to be weak or goofy. There's no
Yeah.
time to be pretending to be Clark Kent, bro. this is your moment to be Superman, whether you like it or not, whether people can see you or not. It's like Spider-Man. Remember in Spider-Man 2, where Spider-Man was stopping the train and then he took off his mask because he was so much under pressure. And after he stopped, the people of New York put him in the train, and then they were like, just a kid. I mean, that was Joey Diaz. You know Joey Diaz, right? Oh, you're just a kid. But there's a moment where your secret identity doesn't even matter anymore because you need help.
Yeah, the purpose. Yeah, because you're saving lives.
Yes. So anyway, yeah, Rob basically just summarized it. He goes through some stuff. He tries to get out of the thing. He fails the first time, and then the second time he does it again. And man, even when they were narrating it, like there was a moment where the scene was quiet, where he jumped.
Yes.
And the whole thing was quiet. We were anticipating, like, is it gonna make it this time? And he did. And even the prisoners were like, yo!
No, but Rob, there's this part where they were chanting. I don't know. I forgot the word. I used to.
Oh
chant
yes.
Yes, no, bro. So those chants, bro. But at the same time,
In that language, no? In that language, what were they saying? Okay.
I don't know.
But they were basically saying rise or something, no? In that language.
Like that, yeah.
Yeah,
and
that was pretty cool.
And apparently that's actually how people die in that prison.
Well, yeah. If you
trying to escape is how you die, basically.
Just you can't be holding that rope. You gotta let it go, which is a nice metaphor. Like you gotta let the baggage go. You gotta let go of the safety. You gotta let go of the baggage, and you gotta come out of it new. And that's what he does. He has to let it go, and he has to let go of the rope.
But that was a huge risk, though. Hey.
Oh yeah, it was a one-way trip. There's no.
But I guess that's a philosophy in life. You know, there's certain things in life you just have to go all out, man. And whatever happens, happens. You know, you either do it or you don't. But it's that one moment where it's a life or death situation. I guess you could say women can relate to that when they're giving birth, because I hear it's one of the most dangerous things. It's risky, you know. But once you do it, it's like, you know.
I mean, in the days of Jesus, it was a lot more risky. There was a reason why you had 4 wives, because chances are one of them wasn't going to make it.
Flip. I didn't know that.
Better now, but
So I always ask myself, where the hell did he go after he got out of there? Because they cut the scene.
Funniest memes where they're like, "This is like catch a plane."
I probably walked for
It probably worked for days, And I always wondered, did they take out all the prisoners out of that thing later on?
I don't think so.
We don't know.
Yeah, I like to think some of the reason. Not everyone in Robben Island was a political prisoner.
Yeah, because I don't know. I always felt, for my own sanity, I just felt like Bruce came back for some of them and took them out. I don't know.
Maybe the doctor, but technically a lot of, remember, they murdered Talia al Ghul's mother. Like, remember that?
Yeah.
The reason Bane's face was damaged because they were trying to get to her. Like, I mean, the reason that kid had to escape was because they were trying to get to the kid. So I'm sure there are actual innocent people in there, but there are monsters as well. So that's what I've always seen.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, so basically we get to a point where Gordon is now put on trial and Scarecrow makes his obvious judgment. And I'm glad that the Joker was not in this movie, because I feel like they would have forced him in those moments. He would have been, because if you think about it, almost every villain that was in the first 2 movies is shown in the third one. Yes. So I think.
Yeah.
Sorry?
I said, according to Christopher Nolan, there was a scene where they were going to let Joker out and he was going to be like, no, thank you. And he was going to stay in prison. Kind of like Eisen, when they're like, I've never watched the whole, in Bleach, where they go to Eisen with the twins. And he's like, nah, I'm good, thanks. I'll wait it out. Apparently that was going to happen. That was what was going to happen if the Joker had. He's gonna wait for his own opportunity. He's like, nah, this is for you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, you have back. Eish. Yeah, bleach is something else. But anyway, yeah, just as they were about to get shot,
Mhm.
the better ranks sort of get rid of all the henchmen,
Exactly.
and we finally see Batman and Gordon again.
Yes.
But the way he reveals himself is that he lights up like the bridge, I think, or a
Mhm.
tower or something.
From like Central Africa, and then he takes some time to buy some gasoline. I'm assuming from the Joker.
That must have been a barrel of a thingy, bro. That's a lot.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
that's a lot of gasoline. That's a lot of gasoline, dog.
Yeah.
And then he basically does his own bet symbol,
mm, mm.
and Commissioner Gordon just figures it out. Oh, flip! All right, it's time now.
Yeah, it's time.
And what does Batman do? He goes to the very same person who betrayed him and
Yeah.
says, "I need your help."
We've all done it. All forgiven ladies, guys. You know you have.
No.
And he also does the same thing to Miranda. He goes to Miranda, remember, as Bruce.
Yes.
Yeah.
What did he need help with what did Miranda had to do?
They were going to because Batman knows there's like 5 trucks that are spinning around the city. One of them has the bomb. So Gordon and Miranda and Lucius have to go find which truck has the bomb. So each of them gets like, assigned to a truck with the bomb detector.
Oh yeah. Even Gordon, right?
Yes. And then I think Miranda. Why was Miranda at the bank again? Oh no, I think she changed her mind. She just shows up at the bank, I think.
No.
Why was she
No.
at the bank?
No. She still wanted to activate the nuke, but she just wanted Batman to see who, like, because this happened after Batman got stabbed. Remember? Oh well, no, not after Batman got stabbed. After the fight.
You're right. You're right. So he doesn't meet Miranda then. I think he doesn't meet Lucius and Miranda. He just goes to Catwoman. And then he goes to Gordon, he goes to Catwoman. Then they open up the cops and the big attack happens. I think I'm right. You guys, what do you think?
Yeah.
Am I right?
Wasn't
Yeah.
Lucius there?
Yeah, Lucius is in the bank with all the rich people and Miranda.
Oh, okay.
So they attack the bank with all the cops.
Right.
Then the Bat takes out the Batmobiles. And then, that's when that, like, I wonder how many extras there was. Like, in any other movie, it would have been 50 people, the rest are CGI. But nope, not Nolan.
Yeah, because at this time, the city is fighting back. And Gordon had convinced the chief of police that, dude, we need to do this. You know, and the chief of police is trying to remind him of his wife and kids. Gordon is not having it. It's like, dude, dress up. Because, I mean, he had already spoken to the guy's wife. The guy doesn't want to, he had given up.
My guy, when you let your wife speak for you.
It's over, bro.
When you don't have the cojones.
But eventually he does. Unfortunately, that's where he dies, actually. But he did show up, you know.
Kind of dude.
Shut up.
You must. I can you say you wanted to be a cop. In the land.
Yeah, and that's where basically Batman defeats Bane. But just after he defeats Bane, which for me I feel like that's a bit more. That's probably one of the most disappointing parts of the movie, because it's like after he beats Bane, or after he damages that part of Bane's face, Bane becomes irrelevant now. But it's fine.
To be fair, as soon as he comes out of that hole, one could argue he's irrelevant. Because Bane is a symbol of Batman's baggage. And as soon as he loses the baggage, then Bane becomes irrelevant, yes. If that makes sense.
So it does. So after defeating, that's when Miranda stabs him. And then he starts realizing, she's like, look, It was never Bane. I am actually the daughter of Ra's al Ghul. And then she gives a whole backstory. And what happens again? I think Catwoman comes in.
Yeah, well, yeah. Because yeah, what happens is Bane's about to die, and then Talia's like, well, like any good Batman, like any bad guy, she's like, I'm going to leave you in a bad situation, and I'm gonna leave. I'm not gonna shoot you right now. I'm gonna go to the bombs. Leaves her there with Bane, and then Bane is like, well, I'm not gonna let you live. And then before he can shoot him, Catwoman's like, yeah, here's a giant shotgun. Here's a giant Batmobile gun, and guns him down.
And I guess that's the redeeming quality of Catwoman, because after betraying Batman,
She comes back because she could have.
Yes, she comes back and saves him.
Yes.
And this is where, for me, Commissioner Gordon also becomes a hero. Remember, I told you that in all of these movies, Commissioner Gordon is also a hero, while Batman is also a hero. Because if you remember, in the first one, Commissioner Gordon, I think he tries to stop the gas from spreading, right? In the second one, he arrests Joker. He also helps with the whole organized crime thing. Then he becomes commissioner. In this one, he has to stop the nuke. That's not something that Batman was supposed to do. It was Commissioner Gordon's job, you know. And yeah, he really tries his best. Eh? I mean, he goes onto that thing. He almost falls down. He tries to open it up. It was a whole thing. And they were running out of time. But eventually he detonates. No, he stops it. He didn't detonate it. He stops it just before it detonates. And Miranda actually had the
remote.
What's this? The remote. But I think what happened to her again? I think
she dies.
Was she fighting?
Yeah, it was hilarious. No, I think she dies in the crash. Dies in the crash. Remember the truck like crashes.
Oh yes. But who was she? Was she fighting with Gordon, or what happened?
She was being chased by Gordon.
Oh yes,
and then
yes.
Go down. I think Batman shoots the truck and crashes, which screws up the bomb, because now they can't defuse it and they have to go to the water. Can we just take a moment to laugh at how Miranda died? She was like, it's too late. Like she just like was like, okay, what?
But also, I think I'm not sure if it's that specific moment or after, but after all these years, Gordon is like, "Who are you, man?" And then Bruce says something
on the bat. Yes,
he says something that basically gives it away. Obviously, yeah, he was taking the bomb, the other bomb, right, on the bat. And but what was that other bomb though? Wait, I think I'm losing something.
No, it was actual reaction. So what he says is like when something about when I was you gave 12 about 20 something years ago, you gave a little boy your jacket. Something about
he says
that.
it
I forgot.
He's like what's his face? You know, you should always be willing to help everyone, even if it's a little boy putting on it, even if it's by helping or putting a jacket on a little boy who just lost his parents or something like that. So it's like a
little boy. Put on a jacket.
Bro, that will always be the most iconic Batman voice ever.
But yeah, so he puts 2 and 2 together, as obviously he's a cop, he's a detective or whatever. And then it finally clicks, it's like, Bruce?
Right, yeah.
And obviously Bruce then takes the bomb. I just can't put the 2 and 2 together. I just don't know where that bomb comes from. Was it from the nuke?
Yes, it's the nuke. The bomb is the nuke.
Oh, so Gordon couldn't stop it. He couldn't stop it.
Yes, he just had to find the bomb. That was his mission. Because there were 4 trucks at the time, and they didn't know which truck was the bomb.
Okay, so Batman takes it, runs away with it, and as they were talking, we see Lucius Fox. They were basically just talking about how he was never able to fix. There was something wrong. It was faulty. The bat was faulty. I think. What was the issue again?
He was not able to fix the autopilot on the bat.
Oh, the autopilot, yes. And then then one of these people tells them that no, Bruce fixed
Yeah.
it, fixed the autopilot thing.
And then
But we were,
Lucius,
I feel like that line actually flew over a lot of our heads because at that time we were just worried that Batman is not gonna make it. You know, it's after like a second, third viewing that you realize, oh, so this is what this basically means is Bruce actually ejected before time, and the thing exploded. Um, then everybody then okay, so basically Batman gets back his reputation as being a hero, which is great. People know that he did that selfless thing. Oh, by the way, you know, there's something very important that we never mentioned. Alfred, obviously, he was breaking down and was telling Bruce that, look, you know, one time, Master Wayne, it's just because he said I'm quitting, I'm leaving because, dude, you are so depressed, whatever. It's like, you know what, Master Wayne, one day I just picture myself being somewhere having breakfast and I'm just turning around and I'm just seeing you somewhere having breakfast as well with some nice lady from somewhere and whatever. I just don't know how he says it, but.
And then
David Beckham.
all you was just, yeah, I know.
What did you say? What did you say, Donald? What did you say, Donald?
I said David Beckham.
It's like one day in Paris at this restaurant where I'd turn around and I'd notice you and you'd be with a nice young lady, whatever.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't have but not. And you would just acknowledge it and I'd be good. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah. 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 So basically, what happens is Bruce is declared dead, and he basically turns the Wayne Manor into an orphanage, which I still think is one of the most selfless thing that you can ever do as a human being in life. And then I think David John Blake also gets he gets told that look, there's something that was left for you, which is the Bat Cave and all the gadgets. And then Lucius Fox, what did Lucius Fox get?
I assume he stays CEO. I would assume.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think so too.
Is there his eventually?
I think we covered everything. Obviously, they go to the cemetery. I think it's Alfred, it's Lucius, and it's the first time we see Morgan Freeman and Michael Caine together in this movie.
Yeah.
And who's this? Commissioner Gordon, no?
Yes. You see all of them. Yeah.
Yeah. And then basically we go to a scene where Alfred is in Paris, which is something that Christopher Nolan likes doing anyway, because people are still debating about it to this day. He did the same thing in Inception. He did the same thing now in where he wants people to be talking about this thing for years because they don't know, did this really happen or was Alfred dreaming? Like, we don't know. But I think the thing that makes us know is I think the thing that makes us know that it's not a dream is the autopilot line.
Yes, that's it. Yes.
Yeah. So we see Alfred in Paris holding a newspaper. He's about to have his breakfast, and then he looks over his shoulder and he sees a happy Bruce. Guess who he is with? Flipping Selena Kyle, bro.
When I believe, yeah, she's traveling.
Men don't learn. Men don't learn.
Oh my goodness!
You know that girl they took away from. That girl they took
that's the girl to go.
And you still go.
But can we be honest though? There has not been an ugly live action Catwoman, guys.
Oh no!
Of course, Pfeiffer, Halle Berry. You can say her movie is terrible. She is.
Pardon?
I'm saying you can say Halle Berry's movie is terrible, but you can't say that Halle Berry is terrible. It's impossible.
Exactly. So yeah, guys, that is The Dark Knight, man. There's just two things that I just want us to just focus on. Best character, worst character, and then the other thing is your scoring out of 10. Yeah. Maybe we can start with you, Don.
Best character. I give it to Alfred.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to Alfred. Because basically he was always trying to be his moral compass throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
And he was protecting him from further heartbreak or depression by not telling him the contents of the letter. Okay, cool. And then out of 10?
Out of 10, I'd give it a solid 8.5. There were
Yeah.
things where I'm like, we could have, they could have just pushed the envelope a bit better in certain scenes where they give us more detail. I felt like right at the end, especially with the the Bane scene and how Bane dies and everything else, and also
Right.
what's her name?
Right.
Selena, what's her name?
Miranda Tate.
Miranda Tate. I feel like they could have just pushed it a bit further. They could have just gave us something, because the movie, for me, the movie starts off very dark, and then it goes and it has it peaks, and then it dips, and then it peaks. But at the end, I think they could have just pushed the envelope. They could have, for me, personally, I feel like they could have killed someone else. They could have just killed another person. They could have killed Commissioner Gordon.
I agree with you. It becomes a bit underwhelming at the end. The third act is not the strongest one.
Yeah. I think you know what they should have done in the sequence. Been the first one, if they were in that order.
Yeah.
It would have been crazy.
No, that's true. Oh, wait, please just repeat what you just said there. You lost me for a second.
Okay, so I was saying, personally for me, I think the third one should have been the second in my order. I think it would have been the third and the second. If they were in that sequence, they would have, I don't know, they would have been that movie. They would have been that movie for me.
Right. And you, Rob?
Okay, I would give it a solid 8. I actually agree. I would say in terms of actors, right? In terms of rating actors as a director myself, I think I agree. Alfred is actually the most convincing character throughout the entire plot, throughout the entire storyline. I think you really do follow Alfred's heart throughout the whole thing. It really does impact you. It never pulls the storyline. You jump straight from the second movie to the third one. Doesn't matter what the gap is, and you can feel what he felt at that time coming together. So I think in the end, Alfred actually does carry that weight of the emotional thing. I think it gets an, because of a lot of what Don said actually is absolutely correct. I would say though, problem is the story. Okay, first of all, I think Christopher Nolan genuinely didn't know that there was going to be a third movie. I think he said that at one point.
Yes.
I think it affects the storyline. That is actually something. So what ends up happening here is, I think. Wait, sorry guys. Okay, wait. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. What ends up affecting the storyline is, what ends up happening is, if you actually think about the plot lines and the plot beats, this story is smooth. It is slick. It is a flippin' masterpiece, right? But if you actually look at the individual fight scenes, Christopher Nolan doesn't do good fight scenes. I think that's a mistake. I think he does. It's always quick cuts. There's an elbow there, quick cut. Whoa, right in everyone's face. So that is unfortunate. Again, the way Talia dies is hilarious. It does in the second act, definitely. I think we spent a little bit too much time with Jason Gordon-Levitt because, again, even though he's ground level guy, the emotional attachment to him, like, who is he as a character, really, like, emotionally?
Yeah,
like,
right.
You don't get to sit with...
There was a bit of a disconnect there. Yeah.
Exactly. There's function, but no heart. So I would say the story's heavy, but not emotion heavy. It's only... Think about it. All the things that happen, who really breaks down? It's Alfred. You know what I mean? Like when he gives the lecture, it's like, I know that we can never come back from this. Me lying about Rachel for 8 years, we can never come back from this. And then at the end, where it adds up to him thinking that Batman is dead, brutal. That's the heart of the storyline. But the other stuff, it's almost like, for example, Catwoman, when she's like, "Oh, we're going to eat the rich." If you think about it, you see one chaotic scene, and that's about it. That whole storyline doesn't really flow, if that makes sense. We can get it, see the car, you're looking at rich people, but you're about to leave on a first class flight out of the country. You suck.
Yeah, she's a hypocrite. She's a hypocrite, basically.
She's and like on paper, it's brilliant, but in real life, it doesn't hit what it's supposed to hit.
Right.
So there's a problem. Anyway, that's what gives it an 8 instead of a 10. That's me. Yeah.
And then
worst
character? Talia Gu.
is I
Yeah,
think she's the worst.
About to say that, I'm like, Talia, I'm like, no, she's.
She's a good actor, but she's not the one. Like, she's not the chosen one. Insanity.
She's not him.
Yeah, I think the idea to make her the ultimate villain didn't work for me. It still would have been great if, let's say, she was Bane's girlfriend, right? And Bane was doing this out of revenge for the girlfriend, and then we find out later on that that's the girlfriend. But he still had his motivations all along. He still wanted to, to carry the legacy and everything. It's just that he basically fell in love with that little girl, and the little girl fell in love with him. It still would have made sense. It would have been a bit creepy, yes, but it would have made sense narratively, right?
Sorry, I'm saying I personally, at one point, as I looked at it, I thought we were getting Ra's al Ghul back. I was so excited, and then they gave us that. Like, if we had Ra's al Ghul back, I was like, that you see, master of deception. That guy doesn't die.
See, I think yeah. You say doesn't die?
I was saying if they brought back Ra's al Ghul on the third one, because there were points where I thought he was really coming back. I was fixated. I'm like, no, Ra's al Ghul is definitely coming back. There's no way that they could be leading us to this part, and then he doesn't come back, and then they just didn't.
See, the reason I got stuck on that, in my opinion, is because if you think about the Dark Knight, what's his face? Aaron Eckhart. Is that his name? No?
Aaron Eckhart, you're right. Yes. I made a mistake last time. Yeah.
Yeah, Aaron Eckhart.
Aaron Eckhart, yeah.
When he becomes, because remember, Miranda's technically a twist character as well. It's two twist characters where you don't know who they are until you know who they are. So when he does, the transformation is so smooth, and he fills up the room. That to the point when he goes up against the Joker doesn't overwhelm him. You know what I mean? His presence.
Yes.
Whereas Talia is overwhelmed by the end. She dies silly. She's not even the point. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's the actor's fault or the director's.
And you don't have enough time to hate her.
True.
Like because all this time you were basically liking what you were basically looking at her from Bruce's point of view. You know that she's an ally, and so. But there was not after she stabs him.
With
of
a
course
tag?
you're like, huh? Yeah, Talia, you're like, huh? But you don't have enough time to hate her, if that makes sense.
She should have shot more of the police. Maybe she should have picked up a gun and shot her way through the police. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That just give her something to be like, oh, this is not a small person at all.
Or like what Donovan said, if she had killed Commissioner Gordon, maybe we would have been like, yo, look.
Exactly. You know? Or even Jason Levitt. Just end his character before he even had the chance to start.
I think she should have done both of them. I think she should have just done both. That'd be like, no, I swear, that would have been like, oh, snap.
Yeah.
We watch her play Gran Turismo 7. She just drives her car, cool. The end.
Yeah.
Thanks.
The end.
Thank you.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
guys,
Mhm.
yeah, I have another recording after this, but
Okay. Good.
to be quick about it, I would say I agree with both of you. It's an 8. It's not a 10. It's not perfect by any means. It's lower than Dark Knight, but slightly better than Batman Begins, I think. Bane for me really, I think for me is the best character for me. And the reason I say he's the best character is he is the one that turns the whole thing upside down. It turns all that 8 years worth of work upside down. The only thing I didn't like about Bane, like I said, is the end. At the end, how they got rid of him for me didn't make sense. I don't think that was executed well enough. You guys mentioned the fight sequences. You guys mentioned the third act being weak. I agree with everything you guys have said. Worst character for me, I think it's John Blake. I wouldn't say it's Talia. I think it's John Blake because the difference between John Blake and Talia is with Talia, I really felt something initially, whereas Bruce was entrusting her with certain things. And maybe I'm biased because I have sort
You
of
saw
like
the
a
love.
mini crush.
No, what
I have a mini
you saw
crush
the
on
love.
Marion Cotillard. Pardon?
You saw the love interest. You got blindsided by the.
Yes. Look, if I was Bruce, I would have gotten stabbed and everything. Like,
You like, look, I stabbed first. Like, you get a turn.
I stabbed
you
it first.
know. But like on the real though, I didn't feel anything for John Blake. It's not Jordan Gordon-Levitt's fault. I just feel like that character. I don't know. He was for me.
I think it was my.
He was only interesting in 3 scenes throughout the whole movie. The first time where he spoke to Batman, when he was talking to the police, and I guess at the end where you saw him embracing those bats like Bruce did. But apart from that, he didn't really do much for me. And I just like the fact that he was supporting both Batman and Commissioner Gordon, and he didn't snitch. He didn't tell Commissioner Gordon that it was Bruce. Commissioner Gordon found out for himself, so that was admirable. Yeah, but yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. This is the Dark Knight Rises, and thanks a lot for Donovan for being a guest and for actually introducing both me and Rob. Otherwise, this podcast wouldn't have existed. And yeah, man, you can tell that this guy is also learned in the arts and film. Why can't they catch you, bro, if they need to check out anything that you're doing on social media?
Well, currently I'm studying, but my social media account has been I deactivated it. But it is Donovan_DT. Yeah, that's about it. I don't have Twitter. I don't have TikTok. I don't have Facebook, but fortunately, Instagram.
No, you're a better man than I am because wow, I am still a junkie, a social media junkie. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Do share this and check out some of our other videos. Thank you so much from myself, Mr. Extrodin, Donovan, and Rob Sibeko. We'll see you on the next one. Cheers.
Peace.
Bye, my boy.